Two men journey to the bars and restaurants of Scandinavia to find amazing beers, always with the same question.
Hey, what's on tap?
It's time to find out.
Welcome to What's on Tap podcast. I am your host, Stefan.
I'm also here.
I had me worried for a second.
Yeah, I had all of our listeners worried.
Oh, no.
Is Martin dead?
They were on the edge, like, what? Is anyone else, or is he just talking to himself?
It's called suspense.
Yes, it is. And you had me going there.
Yeah.
I was like, what? I don't understand. So today we are really breaking format by reviewing two beers.
Yes.
We're changing things up a little bit, trying something different. And we have a Danish and a Swedish beer. So hitting the local market kind of stuff. And I believe we reviewed 45 Days Pilsner on the show when it came out
Pretty
originally.
certain that we did.
And you have procured their other 45 Days beer.
Yes, the 45 Days of Helles.
Mm-hmm.
So this with this beer, what happened is what happens quite often is I see a beer that I think this I need to drink with Stefan. I really need to drink it with Stefan. He thinks the same thing or something similar, like
Yeah.
I need to drink this. We both buy it, and in this case, he managed to get to it first.
Yes.
So you are trying it for the second time.
I am for the second time. So I am super excited to try this again because I loved it the first time I had it.
Nice.
I had it with kind of a spicy dinner, so it would be nice to try it in a non-spicy environment to see how if it holds up still. This is again coming from their Total City in Copenhagen, not Copenhagen, but in Denmark. And again, they've continued to put out really good stuff, and this is no exception. So let's just do this.
Yes, let's smell it first.
Yeah, I smell it. It's very light, clean.
Slightly bready,
Yeah.
super tiny yeastiness.
Yeah. So could you define the difference between a Helles and a Pilsner?
Pilsners usually have more hops, historically,
Yes.
than a Helles.
Okay. Well, I mean, Pilsner to be called a Pilsner does have to come from the Pilsen region originally, but I don't think beer really gets that geographical demarcation like.
I mean, Lambic does have a protection. It has to
be.
to
Okay.
come from the Pajottenland region in Belgium.
I wasn't sure if it was like, well, there's an honor among brewers where if it's not brewed in this one particular region, no brewer will call it a lambic.
That applies to American brewers that call it lambic or not lambic because they are not held to that standard. So,
Well, I mean, but they usually call it wild ale. They'll call it an American wild ale or
Yes.
spontaneous fermentation or something like that.
but in that case, it's honor among brewers
Yeah.
because there are American brewers who call it lambic and they are not covered by this geographical protection.
Yeah. Well, it's kind of like if it's a Kolsch, it should be brewed in Cologne, Germany.
Cologne, yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
But that does not seem to really apply. That one kind of got overlooked. But yeah, this looks really good.
I think this is going to be super drinkable based on the aroma.
Well,
Cheers.
Cheers. Yeah.
I took a big gulp. I tried to do that with these styles of beers.
Yeah.
Because I figured that they're kind of intended to be drank from a big stein, a big glass,
Yeah.
or a jug.
Yeah.
And the sip of an imperial stout doesn't really lend itself to these quite ethereal, flighty. I'm trying to avoid weak because I don't mean weak. I mean
No, I know what you mean. Like, these are not like bold flavor kind of beers, and they are meant to be. This one's actually a little on the higher side. It comes in at 5.2% ABV,
Yeah.
where I think a lot of times these come in at like 3.8 to 4.9 or something like that. Usually under 5. But yeah, they're usually kind of you drink a liter of it, and you have another liter, and you just end up peeing a lot. And you don't ever really get drunk.
Yeah.
But this comes in real well. It's got some of those bready notes. The carbonation is actually pretty strong, so it's got a nice fizziness to it.
Yeah. Having visited Berlin many times, I've had a lot of German lagers that were just... What am I trying to say? This reminds me of a German lager where you go, this is really nice and really drinkable, but it's a little bit forgettable.
Yeah.
Maybe it's supposed to be. I mean, as we say, it's not a bold style. I don't see any off flavors or anything that stands out that makes me go, ugh. It's really well made.
Yeah. It's super drinkable. You got it a little too cold, I think.
Really?
Yeah. My glass was super cold. So because when lagers or helles or things get a little too cold, they get a little metallic kind of flavor to them.
I don't get that metallic.
No, I didn't get that on this. But this was definitely, I think, a little too cold.
Then let's warm it up.
That's why I've been kind of cupping the glass a little bit to warm it. So.
Do you want to go to the next beer and then return to this one? We could.
We can if you want. I'm fine with that. But I could rate this right now. I have no problem.
Yeah, me too. What is your rating?
I'm really torn between a 3.75 and a 4.
Yeah.
I just think this is so well done. It's so easy to drink. If I could get a case of these, I would not be disappointed because it's just so infinitely drinkable. I think the aftertaste is kind of a little bready. It's just really pleasant all the way around. I mean, it's a good dinner beer for sure.
And I'm torn between a 3.75 and a 3.5. So
yeah.
I'm just one step below you, which I think goes hand in hand with our personal preferences. Yeah. It's very seldom that I give. Maybe I should. Now it's seldom that I give these clean, inoffensive lagers higher ratings.
Yeah, I think I would give it I would bump it to a 4. I think if it was a cleaner beer. It's certainly very clean looking, but it's still just a slight haziness to it.
Yeah.
Very, very subtle. But I think if it was just like really pure looking, I would probably bump it up to a 4 based on the technical merits of the beer itself. But 3.75 I think is a.
But then I'll bump it up and meet you.
Okay. Well, great. So
maybe yeah.
Yeah, I would say if you have the chance to get 45 days of Helles or 45 days of Pilsner, you're not going to be disappointed with either. But I think I like the Helles better.
Ah, nice.
Which of course is the one that's harder for us to get right now.
Of course.
So maybe it'll come to Systembolaget soon and we can get it. All right. So next up we have a beer from Beerbliotek, and we haven't reviewed a beer from them in quite some time. And they're one of the more prolific brewers in Sweden right now.
Yeah.
I would say Dugas.
Dugas
is definitely hitting it, but Brewski and Beerbliotek are also putting out somewhere between 2 to 5 beers a month. It seems like in Systembolaget, so they're putting out quite a bit of stuff. And what we have here is a brown ale. Comes in at 7.4%, so it's a little on the almost in the imperial side of things. And this is called The Trash-Filled Streets Made Me Wish We Were Headed Home. Number 293. So they're getting into the Evil Twin New York naming of their beers. But they've always had these weird long names for their beers. This is brown ale, everyone's favorite style.
Yeah. Aroma is kind of caramelly, malty.
Definitely malty, a little hoppy, but not much. I mean,
the kind of hops that you would get in an old American barley wine.
Yeah. Let's see. It doesn't say the type of hops. It just water, malt, oats, hops, yeast. Okay, fair enough. Cheers.
Let's try it. Cheers.
The color-wise, it's actually fairly dark for a brown ale. It's not a light brown ale. It's got kind of a, I would say, chocolatey kind of look to it.
On mouthfeel, I'll give it a minus. I don't really enjoy the way
it's bitter.
It activates my tongue and my taste receptors in a way that is very far from the 45 Days of Helles, where it just caresses them. Ooh, hello, I'm beer, I'm here. This one is more like, I'm gonna poke it with a stick.
You know what this kind of reminds me of?
Let's
see if you agree. Black IPA.
Yeah, actually.
Because it's. I mean, for me, brown ales aren't a particularly bitter style.
No,
they're more sweet, caramelly roastedness, and this is a little more hoppy and certainly a bitter finish on it. It's quite dry, almost like a bark.
Yeah.
Like
yes. Yeah. That's the
kind of finish.
The abrasive mouthfeel I'm looking for.
Yeah. I think this is one of those beers. It really depend on how bitter do you like your beer and how kind of besk do you like the finish.
But I like besk the alcohol.
Yeah.
I like bitter beers, but it needs to have something to balance it up with.
True. And this one doesn't really have anything. It's kind of a weak 4 flavor with just like this pretty strong bitter finish to it.
Yeah.
This is not one of my favorite beers from them.
No.
Plus, it's coming at 7.4%. You can kind of feel the booziness in it a little bit too.
Yep. I just tried the 45 Days of Helles, and it's a delight in comparison.
It is. All right, so...
This isn't hitting my spots.
This is not working for me on really any level.
I'm sorry, but I'll have to give it something like a 275.
Yeah, I think that's where I'm at as well, the 275. I think, your opinions may vary based on your enjoyment of bitter beers. Yeah. Because this one's pretty bitter and strong finish. Okay. Well, that's this episode.
Yeah.
You can find us at what'sontappodcast.com, on Spotify, iTunes, Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, and wherever.
So many places.
So many places. I got some notification in the email last week saying your podcast is now available on this platform. I'm like, I've never heard of this platform. I have no idea what this is.
Sure.
Yeah, might as well. That's good. But until next time.
Drinking it, dum-dums.
This podcast is part of the Pod Syndicate family. For more criminally compelling shows, articles, and conversations, head to wearePodsyndicate.com.